it make you look at things a little different. This is the first time we ever experienced something like this in our life, and just in the business that I'm in, for it to be slowed down like that. So it make you look at things different, and it's definitely a reset for any and everybody. It's definitely a reset when it's shut down the country like that. Just even the studio, just how we make a living, and stage and everything. So it's definitely a reset.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about New Orleans. Some of that we're going to save, and for folks watching, we'll get into it, I think, in more detail when Birdman comes on the beat on the TV show. But here we are on IG Live. I mean, New Orleans, first of all, I'll just say real talk. I go down there for Jazz Fest. The people love you down in New Orleans.
Oh, of course, my city. I mean, I always was taught if you can't win in your city, you can't win nowhere in the world. And I love where I'm from. I give a lot of my everything to where I was raised, and my city motivated me to really be something in life and want to be something and want to be something that means something to life. So I dedicate all that to my city and how we came up. And, you know, right now it'll be Jazz Fest right about now. I think it'll be starting right about now. So
true.
That's a part we all gonna miss.
Yeah. How do you, one of the things that I've noticed, this is true in music and it's also true in politics, it's true in life, people who really represent their communities and keep it real and are true to themselves, the people can kind of tell. And you've done all these big things, including in music and business, but you're very much 100% the same person we remember, the same guy when you were coming up. How does that, is that something you think about? How do you keep it real in your own day to day, even though your life changes?
Especially when I go home. When you go to New Orleans, they have a different passion for me because I really come from the streets of New Orleans. So just to see that I was able to do it, I didn't have that coming up, to see somebody who really influenced me to want to do it. It was myself and me and my brother just wanted to do it. So I guess when I go home, it's like it's a special moment for me. They treat me like I'm special, but they also humble me just being home, because no matter where you're at in New Orleans, it is what it is. So just New Orleans always humble me, and that's where my heart and soul at. I also be in Miami a lot, LA and New York, but my heart and soul in my city, and I love where I come from.
As someone who's been an artist and a business person, do you think of yourself as both, or are you an executive first and then you stepped out and took on a bigger role when the business
was I got in the business to be an executive. It's just that I had a lot of young artists. The Hot Boys was real young at the time, so it made me rap. I was kind of forced to rap at the time, but also at a peak of my career, I gave it up and went and learned more about the business and let Lil Wayne take over the company. So I was always intrigued about the business, and I knew it was a lot for me to learn, and I didn't want to get blindsided by just being a rapper. So I put that down and went studied the game and made it where we can develop a Drake or develop a Nicki Minaj or let Wayne be as big as he possibly can be in this game. So I wear all the hats all the time. I'm an artist by nature, but I think me learning to be an artist taught me how to let an artist be an artist, because I definitely let them express themselves however they feel.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Did you think then, a lot of people know, some people may not, you were discovering Wayne when he was 12 years old? How old?
8, 9 years old.
Wow.
He was living with me since a kid.
So that goes back all the way. When you saw him literally growing up, or Drake, who's familiar to everyone because Drake's a pop star, global, could you see then the potential they had, or was it going to depend on choices?
I always was blessed to be able to see the potentials. Like, I saw enough potential for us to give it our all. I felt like Wayne, at a young age, was somebody we seen the potentials in it, and we saw the ethics, because I taught him the game. I taught him, we ain't gonna do the street life. The studio is the streets now. You hear me? That's where we're gonna spend our time at. And he took it and ran with it, and we taught it to everybody. Like, the Drakes, the Nickies, and we saw the potentials in them. We just had to let them be who they saw inside themselves to be. We was able to allow them to express the art. Being an artist have a lot to do with art. Getting the creativity out their mind, and we was able to allow them and had the room to allow them to be as big as they possibly can be in this game.
When what did Drake learn from going down south and entering that? Because he said himself, it's like this this wasn't an obvious storyline coming from Canada. Becoming
Facts.
one of the biggest rappers, which is a reminder to all of us when we profile. If we look at someone and think we know who they are just because of one thing, how they look or where they're from, we might not really know anything about them. What did he learn being down there with you, with Wayne, all that early period?
I think he already had a little insight about us because all of them was fans, but they really saw the mold of, besides family, because that's what we was built on. You know, I made this feel like a family atmosphere. So what Wayne created, how big he had became, and you know he was still is one of the biggest stars in the game. But then I think Drake saw that he really can be also one of the biggest stars in the game, and had the avenue to become that. And same thing with Nicki, they had the same platform to become some of the biggest artists in the world. And it all started with Wayne because he was already one of the most amazing artists in the world before they even joined forces with us. And when they came aboard, they saw that it could be done, and they went for it, and they did it. We very proud of all of them.
Mm. And they most people will know this too, but I was reading they call you baby
Yeah,
initially because
yeah,
when you were born, they didn't sign the birth certificate. Tell us all
yeah.
about it. Tell the people.
Um, Really, all my life, I always thought my name was Baby, like, cause nobody ever called me Brian unless you really from uptown, like, you know. My mama didn't name me till I came out the hospital, so everybody in the neighborhood used to just call me Baby, and later on in life, she just named me Brian. But I was born with the name Brian Brooks, and me and my brother and my sister and them was in the boys' homes for a little while because my father didn't get a chance to sign the birth certificate, so we became property of the state. But when he got us back, that's when our name became Ronald Williams, Brian Williams, and Kim Williams.
And when you were coming up that young, people right now, people are watching, we cover this on the news. We got 40 million people who lost their jobs. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't mess up at work. It's just the times we're living in. And a lot of people, like what you're telling us, you're born into a situation. How did going up through that, whatever you want to call it, tough time, hard streets, adversity, how did that shape you? Because you're not someone who was beaten by it. You came out from it strong.
We all beaten by it, cursed by it, scarred by it. I look at it when I look back. I was a lost kid at a young age. We was born in the struggle, survived in it, maintained it, and know how to win in it. So just it was my ambition. I wanted to be somebody because I watched a lot of my partners die. I watched down there my whole family died. My mama, daddy, brother, sister, grandparents, partners, friends, just growing up in the project, in and out of jail, boys' homes, just doing everything the wrong way because we was taught that. But once when I got like 15, I realized that I think I could do something different with my life because I didn't want to end up incarcerated like all my partners are dead, like a lot of my friends. So it was my self-motivation and just, my pops was my everything. He's somebody who I always wanted to be like. And just, I wanted to be something. I wanted to be something. And I wanted to change. I didn't understand how life was so hard for us. And I wanted to make a difference for me and my people that, I ain't understand having one car, one house, one pair of shoes, one shirt. I ain't understand none of that. So when I got a chance to flip the script, I went way up with it,
Yeah.
way up with it.
I just speaking for myself, I could imagine that being really meaningful to people right now because there are people, you're where you are, but there are people watching us right now on IG Live or wherever, and they're in that situation that you were in then now because people lost jobs, people's partners lost jobs. You're sitting at home, nobody's got the job now,
Definitely.
and it's tough. I got to say, Rich the Kid, shout out to Rich the Kid checking in, and he's got a question for you, Birdman. I'm gonna read you his question. All right.
Yeah,
A lot of
definitely.
people here, I'm sure, know Rich the Kid. The money get stuck together, as he says. And he says, yo, ask Bird when he first had the idea of starting a label. Birdman?
Man, really though, I was just trying to find a way out. Just being young, because I started my label. Just being a young man, lost in the streets, and I wanted a way out. I was watching New Jack City, and they went with the CMB.